Alright my friends, this week we are going to get into Inuit drawing. I'm going to show you a couple of different painting techniques this week using watercolor. You can use them if you want, you don't have to. This project's going to take a little bit of wait time in between. So we're going to use watercolor on the background this week, and then next week we're going to draw and add some details with colored pencil. So this week should be really fast for you. It's really just doing that watercolor background. And like I said, I'll show you a couple different techniques to make your background look like ice and maybe some snow. You can try them out if you want, see if they work for you. And if they don't, retry it. You know, it's okay. Things don't always work the first time. Sometimes your paper's not wet enough. Sometimes you move something. Sometimes you didn't leave it long enough on. But they're really fun. So, you know, try them out, see what happens. And then next week, like I said, we'll get into drawing our Inuit people and objects onto that snowy landscape. So I'm looking forward to see what you do. Hopefully you have some fun this week. This is a good one. And I will talk to you on Friday. So actually, yeah, I'll talk to you on Friday. Okay, can't wait to see what you do. Bye.
All right, time to have some real fun. So we are going to get our paintings ready, our backgrounds ready for our Inuit paintings and drawings. We're going to paint the background with watercolor, then we're going to go over them, and we are going to add our people, an igloo, and some other details if you want to add a little fire, or if you want to add a dog sled, or whatever you want to add. We will add those after our painting is dry, but today we need to do the painting portion of it. So you need to have your supplies ready to go because we're going to work really quickly today. You may want to have a couple of pieces of paper ready so that you can experiment a little, but you're going to need your watercolors. You're going to need some water and your paintbrush. If you have a big paintbrush, that will help because we have to paint really quickly. If you have a spray bottle, that will also help make it go quicker. Any kind of spray bottle, if it's a little one or a big one, that will help. If you have cling film, just regular saran wrap, that will help. That's an option. You don't have to do any of these. I'm just giving you all of these as options. And if you have any kind of salt, table salt, the salt crackers, salt shakers, you can use that for today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to move my supplies. We're going to work really, really fast today. Now, I have already added water to my paint. You can see I have the water bubble, so my paint is softening up. It's getting ready to go. And you need to think about what colors you're going to use. I'm going to use, I want these to look like there's ice on the bottom and sky on top. So I'm going to use blue for the bottom, sort of to show that icy bottom, and I'm going to use some purples up on top to make it look like it's maybe sunrise, sunset, and to offset some of that blue. You can use whatever colors you like. Now we want to do a water wash. This is where those big brushes will come in really handy because we want the paint to flow and we want our paper to be really wet. So you may want to put down like a paper towel underneath it, or a couple paper towels underneath it. I have some poster board that I use underneath mine. It works really well for any kind of overspill, or if Sharpies bleed through. I use this all the time. So if you have a spray bottle, that works really well too, because then you can just sort of spray your paper and everything will go a lot faster. So I'm going to start with one example using the spray bottle. So my paper is sprayed. You can see it's pretty wet. I want to make sure my whole paper is really, really wet. The wetter it is, kind of the better it is, and you don't want to touch it too much because it'll start to pill up and you'll get those little paper balls. Now that we've got it wet, we're going to take our brush. I'm going to get that wet. We're going to swish, drag, and I'm going to start at I'll start at the top. I'm going to start with that purple. I'm going to come in here and get that sky. Notice I'm going really fast, just to sort of get those purple skies in. And because the paper is wet, you can see how it bleeds so nicely together. Like it just blends in really, really nice. And you get that kind of wispy effect of the sky. Now if you wanted to add some other colors, I could add a little orange to this and give it more of a sunrise effect. They work really nicely together, the purple and orange. And because they're wet, they will end up blending together really nicely as well. Alright, so now that we've got the paint on and my paper is still really wet, I'm going to go ahead and grab that salt. I'm just using Trader Joe's salt. I'm going to pour some in my hand, just a good palmful. If you have a salt shaker, that works really nicely too. And I'm going to take a pinch with my fingers and I'm going to kind of pinch it across my paper like so. So it's just not clumpy, kind of spread out, and that's it. We want it to just sit there. What's going to happen is that salt is going to absorb all of that paint, and anywhere that the salt is left over, there will be a white spot. So it's going to look like there's snow over our morning sky. If you have any leftover salt in your hand, just throw it away in the trash. We don't want to put it back in the food because that's kind of gross. Now for the bottom of our piece, if you noticed your paper started to dry, you can either spray it again or use your big brush. I'm going to clean my brush, swish, drag. I'm going to put my blue down here. I'm going to show you how I get that cool icy texture. It's going to look like ice cubes. I'm just mixing that blue paint in with the water already on the paper. Now one way to get that ice cube effect, if you don't have saran wrap or cling film, is to take a napkin or a paper towel and just kind of dab and hold. See how you get those block shapes? Kind of looks like ice. Another way to do it is to put this down. If you notice that it's starting to bleed up into your sky and you don't want it to, just dab with a little paper towel and that will dry it up and keep your paint where you want it. Now while your paint is still really wet, we're going to take our saran wrap and kind of crinkle it a little bit and just lay it on top paint. Now you can see how I'm getting these shapes underneath. Let everyone know when we're done, all that salt up here is going to absorb our paint. It's going to leave those white dots. The snow is, and wherever our saran is touching our paper, it's going to leave these outlines and it's going to end up looking like little icebergs. So I can't wait to see what you have done. I'm going to give a little blot because I've got a little bit of running paint here that I don't necessarily want. You may want it, that's fine. Sometimes it looks cool when it runs up into the sky. I just don't want it this time. So I'm just going to give it a couple of dabs with a napkin. Alright, so I'll come back when it's dry and show you what I've got.